Let's talk the labor market. It'll be key to how the Fed responds here and what's happening with the economy. We get the monthly jobs report tomorrow morning, although it now feels like that's a snapshot of an economy from 3 decades ago. But our next guest has some new data showing there was an 11% drop in job postings in February. Let's bring in Sohn. He's the CEO of AI-driven workforce data company Aura Intelligence. And Evan, we also got the Challenger announcements this morning, and those were up considerably.
Yeah, but I'm still depressed from the last two people who just spoke. So, this doesn't make life any good. It's always, first of all, good to see you again. It's always the indecision that I think affects companies the most. You don't know where things are going to go, and that's when you start to see hiring freezes. And that's what really worries us the most is sort of this indecision. As Brad Gerstner talked about before in the previous segment, you start to see AI taking a step here now. So are you going to rely on those AI roles, and we're tracking the AI jobs as well, to use that as opposed to replacing people. If consumer spend is down and your costs are coming up because of tariffs, the only way to adjust your actual EBITDA is to really affect your overall workforce. And that's going to become really necessary to really make sure you're running an efficient and effective workforce.
So again, this is all from now a couple of weeks ago, and the jobless claims have been fine. Those are fine this morning. Maybe continuing claims, a little different story. You're seeing declines already at government, obviously, and in retail, and now they're going to be facing this additional headwind.
No, that's right. We look what's kept the job growth up over the last bunch of months. It was really the government sector and the healthcare sector, with some other sectors every now and then showing growth. Well, the government sector now is in a decline. They announced 275 layoffs, I think were announced this morning or yesterday. You're still going to see healthcare, which fortunately for healthcare services is sort of one of those sectors not really impacted by tariffs as much, although let's see what happens on the overall consumer spend. Retail's down, and really across those sectors are down. But there is hiring going on, right? There's less hiring, there's less quitting going on. And I think what you just said is right. This low unemployment level is really what's protecting the overall job market right now.
Hey, Evan, one of the things that I'm concerned about, and feel free to tell me I should not be, is the following. In a downturn, government acts as a safety valve, safety net in a bunch of ways. It'll provide that we have circuit breakers that provide jobless insurance or jobless claims, but also the government doesn't have to fire during a downturn, so you don't have teachers and clerks in the unemployment line with people from the private sector. They get to go back to work and not have to compete with the government sector. This time around, if there is a downturn, it's going to be different, right? With government workers in the unemployment line, maybe a lot of them with the private sector. When you game that out, what does that look like to you?
Yeah, so what you're really saying, Steve, is you have a window where you actually have to absorb those people. The federal workers that are going to be unemployed or the government workers unemployed, there's a severance time, right? So whether it's that 6 months before they're actually filing for unemployment. So we have, a very short window to actually absorb them into the private sector. And we talked last month about the rolling layoffs that occurred last time we were seeing all these cost reductions. This really worries me. If we're not going to see growth in all of these sectors, how do you absorb all of these government workers into the private sector? That's really what worries me the most. The only saving grace is that our unemployment numbers are really low still.
Right.
So if we're at the lowest unemployment levels, if you're going to test this thing out, maybe now is the only time you can actually do it.